Wise Love is a story about a mother who recently becomes the caregiver of her 19-year-old schizophrenic son. She makes a desperate attempt to save him from himself and others, but her decision could change their lives forever. My name is Tomeka Winborne. I'm the writer, director, and producer of the short narrative Wise Love. I chose to do this project because I wanted to honor caregivers. How can we do a better job caring for our caregivers? That is the motivation and my desire that I hope to get out of this movie.
And I was a caregiver for my mom for 5.5 years.
Of a family member that was dealing with mental health, which happens to be my daughter.
In addition to that, there's a mental health component because particularly in the Black and Brown communities, we are doing better, but we still have stigmas and taboos around mental health.
I'm Glena Albritton, the producer for Wise Love. I strongly believe in this film and the impact it will have on those who feel unseen. Tomeka is a powerful storyteller. By supporting us in this phase of production, you'll help us to hire more women in our key department head positions. You'll also help us move ahead with our casting process. And you'll also help us as we begin to make commitments for the equipment we need to make this a successful production. Thank you so much for your support of Wise Love.
How can we support Wise Love? Well, guess what? I have the answers for you. First, you can follow us on Seed and Spark. Seed and Spark is a wonderful crowdfunding platform that helps filmmakers build audiences and raise money.
Secondly, tell all of your friends about us and please share our campaign with them.
You can also follow us on social media. So even after the campaign is over, you can follow the journey, be a part of our journey.
And finally, you can support us both financially or in kind. We love your support. Thank you so much for just watching our video. We appreciate you.
Hi, welcome back, everybody. Thank you so much for watching On the Town. I'm your host, Tanya Cooper, and welcome back again. Thank you so much for sticking with us. Tonight's topic is often not talked about, as you will see, and some have said mental illness is a disease that affects the whole family. There are about 16 million people caring for their loved ones with something like even dementia, and as many as 8.4 million Americans are providing care to an adult with an emotional or mental health issue. That's according to the National Alliance for Caregiving. But tonight we have writer, director, and producer of Wise Love. And as I'm summing up her words, it is a film that hopes to start a conversation that will bring awareness to the sacrifices and mental health issues that many caregivers endure while gracefully caring for their loved ones. Tonight's our first guest considers herself, I'm tripping up on my words here, considers herself a social impact filmmaker. After directing 5 short films, she is expanding her cinematic creativity by becoming an episodic TV director and feature film director. She is the co-chair of the Alliance of Women and writer, director, and producer. And director of Wise Love. Please welcome Tomeka M. Winborne. Hi.
Hello. How are you today? Thanks.
Good. How are you? Thank you so much for taking the time to come. I appreciate you.
Thank you.
And our next guest, she began her career as a model for JCPenney, Dr. Pepper, and many more national brands in Chicago, Illinois. She started helping family members become cast on reality series, national TV commercials, and background work for television and films. She is the owner of Hugh's Casting. Please welcome Miss Elle Hugh. Did I say that right? I'm messing up your name. I can't believe I did.
No, you're good.
Elle Hugh.
Elle.
Thank you very much.
You got it.
My friend is Ellie, and she spells it E-L-L-E. And I was like, "Are you trying to confuse me, girl?" So that was my little Freudian slip. But it's one of my favorite names. Thank you very much for joining us. I appreciate you.
Thank you.
So let's see, Tomeka. First, I must ask, what led you to write on this topic? You know, because it's a heavy one.
Yeah, it is. Well, actually, I was shooting another short film a few years ago, and one of the actors shared her personal story with me. Her
Mhm.
son was autistic, and then as he got to a certain age, he started having some behavior issues.
Okay.
She became very fearful that he's a tall guy,
Mhm.
and as he was having these struggles, she really felt like what's going to happen to my son. And then also, like she shared a story where he went down the street and knocked out all the windows of all the cars on the street.
Mhm.
And then there were times that they had to call the police because he would get a little aggressive,
Mhm.
even in the home. So she was sharing this story with me. She was really emotional, but she talked about at one point in her journey
Mhm.
that she thought about taking the life of her and her son because she felt like that was the only way to protect him from himself, and she also feared him being shot by the police, because we do know oftentimes people that are suffering from any type of mental illness have a
Mhm.
high rate of getting harmed um, due to their mental illness.
Mhm.
So I was like, wow, this is heavy, like I hadn't really heard anyone talking about that perspective of a caregiver.
Mhm.
So then I shared this with one of my friends, and she's an attorney and a homeschool mom. So she went to one of the mom's home to do a will.
Mhm.
And when she went to do the will, the mother was really depressed, and she shared her story about how her daughter was 13, and she couldn't sleep in the room with her husband because the daughter was would interrupt him sleeping. He was the provider for the home. So
Mhm.
shortly thereafter, she talked about, like her mom just, the woman was just really, really depressed. And so, anyways, a couple weeks later, the woman ended up taking the life of her and her daughter.
No.
So I started doing research, and I was like, wow, this is an issue that we're not talking about, because oftentimes caregivers make so many sacrifices to care for their loved ones, and whether it's cancer, whether it's a child with mental illness, or a spouse that recently got sick, whatever that is, they oftentimes give so much to the person that they're caring for that they
Mm.
neglect caring for themselves. And then I
That's.
think, also, like if you go see someone that's sick, you're
Mhm.
like, oh, how they doing? Da da da. And we never ask the caregiver, like, hey, how are you? Can I, sit here with you for 5 minutes or an hour while you go out and get something, or just go get a massage, or just take a breath, And so what I really want is for us to start having this conversation about how do we better care for caregivers.
Mhm.
And of course, mental health is a very important issue. So the reason I chose schizophrenia is
Mhm.
just because I do think, especially in the lives of people of color, we still have this taboo around mental health.
Mhm.
But it's really focused on the caregiver, and it doesn't matter how you're caring for someone. We
Mhm.
want to make sure that we're better caring for our caregivers.
So this is that's kind of what I got, that the caregivers are the key piece here, and that they need to know when to check in, and people need to know to check in with them too, because it can be overwhelming. I can imagine, especially if someone has dementia or, like you said, schizophrenia. It can be very, it's a lot. It's a lot.
A lot. Yeah. I have a friend right now, and one day she called and she was like, I haven't taken a bath in 3 days because
Wow.
she's caring for a mother that has Alzheimer's, and just like having to have that constant care all day long. And so, and I encouraged her to get therapy. So she did start therapy recently. So, we do have to think about, like, as the caregiver, making those minutes to care for ourselves, however that looks for that person.
Okay, so, wow, that's a very. It's so funny that I found you, and that this topic came up, because I can probably say at least 8 times this month I've had people who are dealing with this issue.
Yeah.
So I'm so happy you were able to bring it here and talk to us. And so, Elle, when you cast for this, what are the things that you're looking for? As a casting agent. Did I say that correct? Director, casting
Yes, yes,
director, agent. Okay.
yes, yes. So one of the things that we look for is someone that can, especially for the role of KJ. KJ is a role where you have to be able to play someone that's schizophrenia and
Mm-hmm.
believable.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you're someone in the audience and you're actually dealing with this at home, you can tell if it's not, the acting is not there. So really, we're looking for someone that can really deliver the role of KJ, and
Mm-hmm.
then also Dana, the caregiver. What is it like to be that person that you're constantly in fear of, maybe your relatives? A
Right.
lot of times people are in fear of the relatives that they're supposed to take care of. So what does that feel like? How do we put that on the screen to showcase what that feels like? What does it feel like Tomeka said earlier, someone hasn't taken a bath in 3 days. I can't imagine not taking a bath in 3 days because my eye has to be constantly on someone that I love.
Yes.
So those are the things that I try to look for as a casting director, is someone that can deliver the message that the director, writer, producer is portraying in this film. And that's very important, because your audience, they're going to know the difference between a really good actor and a really bad actor. They're going to know that immediately.
Yes, absolutely. I agree. Especially with something like this, it has to be like dead on, because it would not, it wouldn't represent the movie. I get it, but the young man did an excellent job. At least I thought so. It's great. So you two have to work.
I'm sorry, the clip that you have, we haven't actually shot it yet. So the clip we're actually still casting. We have.
Oh, so that the young man.
That was the stock footage to give an example of.
Okay. Because I was like, wow, he did really good. It was believable. I get it, because I was like, wait a minute, we're still seeding this. Wait a minute. Okay, that makes sense. So for those of you who don't know, like me, that scene that I saw was someone else, just to show them what they're gonna do.
Typically, we probably would have shot something, but because of COVID, we wanted to be safe, and so we decided not to get together to shoot where we could use stock footage to tell the story. And I think what we're going to shoot is going to be much better.
We'll into my next question which was because of the pandemic, how has that affected both of you in casting and in creating and writing as well? Like now I got to write in case we have another lockdown. I have to write in case what I'm saying, like that all that stuff plays a part in film. So how did it affect you? The pandemic as far as this whole getting things together, like did you have to shift gears?
Yeah. Do you want to start, Elle?
Yeah, I can go. Well, the one thing I know as a new casting director, it's a double-edged sword, because it kind of was beneficial because of the virtual part of it, where you don't have to be there, but you can still have your meetings and kind of get what you need to get from that meeting. But then at the same time, sometimes you want to see people in person and kind of see, what they are. Not on a video, but in person, to actually feel the energy in the room. So it's kind of a double-edged sword. It's been a good thing, but then it's also been, of course, with a lot of lives that have been lost, it's been a bad thing. So it's kind of a double-edged sword there for me.
Yeah.
For us, initially we were planning to shoot this past summer.
Okay.
But we knew, and we made a decision before we knew that a lot of people had not been vaccinated at that time. So we decided to push it until the fall. And so now it is a lot of work, a lot of extra stuff, because we are requiring it to be COVID compliant. So that means that we have to hire COVID compliance officers. We have to make sure everyone's tested.
Oh, okay. I was like, they have to be.
Okay. Yes, and we are requiring everyone to be vaccinated, crew and cast.
Really?
Yes. And so we're requiring everyone to be vaccinated, and they still have to be tested before we shoot and during the shoot.
Really?
So it is going to be, but it's important, because for me and my producing partner, Galena Albritton, we don't want anyone to, we don't want to have the guilt of someone losing their lives or someone even being extremely ill. So we want to do our part as
diligence
of the project to make sure that we are keeping everyone as safe as possible.
Right. I get that. Now, another question. Have you been, and applies for both of you actually, have you been able to empower more minority actors, or will you be able to empower more minority actors and women? Because, that's a double question, but go ahead.
Yeah, I'll start. Well, one, it is an African-American story. So we are going to have an African-American cast. And what I'm most excited about is that we're going to also have 100% women crew. So that oftentimes when you're on set, it's like more men than women. So like we have an amazing group of women that we're working with. Our DP, her name is Alexis Jackson. And she's really amazing. She also is a adjunct professor at Spelman that teaches cinematography. And she's just really amazing. So I'm so excited to work with her.
Okay.
Our producing Galena Albritton is my producing partner. We have Elle Hughes here. And we have a whole, I don't want to call names because we have a team of women that we have on board and that we're continuously bringing on board to support us in this project. So I'm extremely excited. When I first mentioned this, I was like, well, hopefully we'll get all women. And now, whenever we have this conversation, they're like, no, we're gonna have all women. So I'm excited. I think it's gonna be so much. It's so many amazing women, first of all, that do this work, and we want to, use them because sometimes it's like building that experience, but they may not always get the experience. So we are excited to have newer people and people of like a lot of experience to be working on the project.
Well, no,
and I just want to say really quickly, I'm just inspired by Miss Tomeka. I'm just inspired. She has inspired me in so many different. Her and Galena have inspired me so much because I've learned so much from them on this project. And then when I actually read the script, it actually made me cry because I struggled with my own a little bit of mental illness when I was, younger. And I've overcome a lot of that. So it really made me feel like I'm a part of something bigger than me. So I just wanted to say that I was inspired by this whole group of women. They're all amazing women on this team. I'm just super excited.
I can imagine anything with all is going to be awesome because I don't know why, but if we're on the same artistical page, it's like heaven. It's like heaven. There's not all that other stuff that goes on. And I don't know why that is. Maybe because we have other elements that people don't have, I'll just say. But I think that sounds like amazing crew.
Yeah. And our crew is diverse. It's not all African American women. It's women of different ethnicities because I was just more focused on it being women. They all come with amazing talent. Yeah.
Okay. And that's what it's really about at the end of the day. So when you got into writing and directing, and you for casting, was there anything that made it more so for you to be the change you wanted to see, or that's never been a thing for you? Because some people say there's not a lot of Black film directors or writers, and definitely not casting. I mean, now there might be a few. I know a few casting directors, but not like a lot. You know what I'm saying? Like I could probably go and Google all of them right now.
Right.
So it's nice to hear that there's somebody else, and that's only because, like I said before, you want the best actor. But if I'm an actor and I'm not getting work, that's annoying. So it's good to me when I see that at least they won't be knocking me out of the box because I'm brown.
Yeah. So this is the thing too. The thing that Galena and I prided ourselves on was creating opportunities. Like, okay, we are still not like, you don't look at me and be like, Ava DuVernay, if someone says Ava, Ava's name. And so someone's giving me a chance. So like for me, I want the person that has the amazing work ethic. And as long as they're willing to try, so I'm willing to work with them and we, train as much as we can, but as long as they're willing to do their due diligence, we're excited to, work with women, even if they're star, because the thing is, if we want to see more women, period, African-American, Latinx, Asian, we have to create opportunities and we have to start saying like, okay, maybe they haven't casted a lot of stuff before, but let's work together. And as long as they're willing to do the work, and I hope Elle don't mind me saying this, like this is one, she was like, hey, I'll come on because I want to get more experience. But she's been kicking butt. But imagine if I had looked at her resume and was like, oh, she hasn't done enough.
Right.
And she's been, really working hard. I'm very proud to have Elle on board, very extremely proud. And we have a young lady, Sam, that this is her first time. Like she started out as an intern with us, but her dedication is so amazing. She does the research, her due diligence. Sam, I should say her whole name so that we, so you're like, who's Sam? But she's, I'm like so impressed. She stepped in the role as line producer, and Galena and I are ecstatic. Like she is so amazing. And so I think it's important for us to, for me, and to go back to your first part of your question, what inspired me to become a filmmaker in the beginning is because I did not see representation of my friends and I. When I look at, oftentimes now, it's a lot better now, but when I first started my journey in like 2009, when I first started learning filmmaking, but that's when it was really heavy in reality TV. So I was like, my friends and I are not fighting each other in the street and all that kind of stuff. Like, that's not how I want to be represented as a Black woman.
Right.
One of our issues right now is that, and even in casting, and Elle was like, Tomeka, what she wants, but I'm an African American dark skinned woman.
Right.
And so one of the things is we want a dark skinned Dana, because oftentimes when you see our darker skinned sisters playing roles, they're the side, the friend, they're the angry Black woman, or the loud
crackhead.
Yeah, all that stuff. And I want us to humanize that dark skinned women are mothers. They love their husbands. Like, we have, but so if we want to see change, we have to fight for those things. And so it's taken us a little bit longer, but that's because I'm diligent in finding someone, because it's important. If I don't represent it as a dark skinned woman, create opportunities for dark skinned actors. And some of the women are already doing amazing things. So I'm not, starting their career, but I want to be able to say whenever I'm casting someone, I want to see, thank you. I want to see people who look like me. I want to see little girls that can say, that's little brown girls that can say, like, I don't have to be light skinned. And I love all hues of ourselves. I don't care. Like, I love Elle. My mother, so it doesn't matter.
I don't take any offense.
Yeah, no, I know you don't, but I just want to make it clear. It's not because I'm over discriminating. It's because we don't see enough of us in those type of roles. So it's important for me when I'm creating characters to make sure I see what I don't see that represents me.
Absolutely.
And just to piggyback off of what she just said, that's kind of how I got started in the industry. My daughter is a darker skinned young lady. Okay. And when I actually started in talent management before I went into actual casting. Okay. So when I was helping friends and family, my daughter was picked up by an agency. However, they wanted us to pay all this money. And then when she paid all the money and I wrote my last check, the lady said, well, she's a beautiful Black young lady. However, there's not much work for her skin tone. And that, my daughter's standing right next to me. She's holding back her tears. And I thought that was the most insensitive thing a person could say to anyone. How can you tell someone what they can and cannot do based upon skin tone? And in that moment, that was really how we entered into all of this, because I told my daughter, you never let anybody tell you what you can and cannot do. And if they don't want you at their table, you get your own table.
That's it.
And you build your own table. And that's what we've been doing from then. And then I just fell in love with the whole entertainment business, and the Hughes casting is a result of all of that.
Yes. And now Hughes casting, where are you located out of?
We're located out of Houston, Texas. However, most of our castings come from Austin, Dallas, Atlanta, and LA. Oh,
so the big spots. Okay. And yes. Tomeka, where are you at?
I am currently in Houston. I started being here during the pandemic, so we'll see where I end up.
Oh, you're in Houston. I got family out there. I still never come out to see you yet. but that's amazing. I think being the change you want to see is very important. I actually started writing screenplays because of the same reason. I got tired of like turning on TV, turning on Netflix, turning on it. I'm like, really? Here we go again. Game of Thrones, all these different things. I'm like, okay, where are we? Can we represent? Like, even especially when it's fictitious, it's like, well, let's just throw somebody in there, Brown. Like, just throw them in there. Like, it's because you can't tell me that none of us can act. Like, it would be one thing you would say, sorry, that's not your line of work. There's none of you that can do that. Okay, I would be like, all right, fine. But I know personally people that are like stellar actors and actresses. So why I should be able to look at a movie. This is how I feel. I should be able to look at a movie and not tell you what color it's representing. But right now we can't do that because it's been so uneven so long that, it's going to take a while. But eventually I'd like to see, I don't have to say, that's a Black movie, that's a white movie. It should be just a movie. The storyline should sit out by itself.
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, I watch plenty of stories that have no African-American characters, and I think they're amazing because it's about the story. But I do think it's important for us to see ourselves. It's important for our children to see themselves.
Absolutely.
And I really, and I do want to say that I said Sam's name wrong. It's Sam Monique Hines, who is our amazing.
Yes, I saw it on here. There it is. We got it on screen. Yeah. No, I think that's important. I saw. Did you see Minecraft?
I didn't.
Oh my gosh! Now, because I'm like, I'm not Elle. I'm surprised you didn't see it because you're sci-fi.
But I did see, but I did see Game of Thrones all seasons.
I don't like Game of Thrones because to me, I didn't see enough turnaround of people in it. I didn't see enough people that would look representative.
They definitely could have done a better job at all those different countries. They could have definitely done a better job of casting either a black queen, a male queen,
I just couldn't. I couldn't get into it because if I anything I turn on, any magazine I pick up, and actually I was on strike from Vogue for years. I used to model in the 80s in Paris. I said I would never buy another magazine, another fashion magazine, until I can turn every other page and see somebody brown, Asian, green, blue. I don't care. Give me any color. And actually, I bought the first one last month. And that long, like that long. And I would tweet and hashtag them and say need black girls or whatever I would say. I would say something. Brown girls need it.
Some color.
Yeah, you needed something because I never became no big model like Naomi or nothing like that. But when I was modeling, there was a select black girls. Munya, Wanaki, Iman, Naomi. I can name them all. That's sad, but I can name them all.
But even now, when they do the modeling shows, there's only a number of dark-skinned girls that they allow and light-skinned, and that's it.
Well, here's the irony. Do you notice on the runway they will put like a Lupita Nyong'o, right? Mm-hmm. But 10 black girls right here sitting local, and they will be like, nah. Because I was signed with a big agency, very brief, because I realized my friend put me on and said, girl, it sounds good to be signed. When you're with Ford or Wilhelmina, it sounds like, oh my God, I got signed to Ford and Million. But first of all, I was brown in the 80s. So if you know about the 80s, you'll know, sorry, boo-boo, you're not going to work much. When the girl's sick, that's when you get to work. Or, somebody's out pretty much. Yep. And I figured that out very early. So I said, I think I'd be better off going to Paris. And I was. Not that I still didn't become a Naomi, but boy, I can make a lot of money.
But you probably made a lot of money working.
Yes. And I wish I would have saved it. That's the only problem. I wish I would have saved it. I wish I would have invested in them stocks. But the point I'm making is that,
colorism is real.
Yeah, we shouldn't have to think about that. And I'm glad, because I have a very beautiful Nigerian wide nose. The first thing I told the agency in Paris and in New York, I don't do nose jobs. I don't do bow tie. I don't do none of that. This is what I was skinnier then. I was size 3 then. I'm like a different. But I said, I don't do none of that. They said, we didn't ask you to do that. I said, I'm just letting you know I don't do that. Right. So don't even ask.
I just want to tell you really quick off subject. Your skin is absolutely flawless for no bow tie.
Thank you. I've been working, steaming her tribe. At 56, it's hard to keep it up.
No, you're looking great.
Great.
Thank you, ladies. But so what else in this film do you want us to know about before we wrap it up?
Well, we right now are doing a fundraiser on Seed and Spark.
Yes, that's right here. I got it.
And we are very grateful for everyone that's already donated to our campaign. But
yes, you reached your goal.
We reached our goal, but we set a small goal because our budget is a lot larger. So we are still raising money so that we can pay for catering, pay for our COVID compliance, pay for, a really good equipment, and all those things. So we have, I think, 11 days left. So it's not too late for people to donate. Okay. And what we tell people also, it doesn't matter if it's $5, 10,000, 50, whatever amount. There's no amount too small. And also we are aware that we are in a pandemic and money is tight for a lot of us. Right. So you can also help if you can't donate financially. You can also help us by following us on Seed and Spark. The reason that we want to have you follow us on Seed and Spark is like once we get 250 followers, it unlocks some discounts for us, like as we go into post-production. So if you can donate, we would be grateful. If you can't, please follow us.
How do is it this right or that's wrong? Seed and Spark? No?
Yes, Seed and Spark.
Okay.
And then seedandspark.com.
Oh, wait. Okay. Seed and Spark. Keep going.
Mm-hmm. And then we're going to do backslash. And then wise-love.
-love. Tell me if this is right.
Okay.
Ready? There.
Almost. I'm gonna copy.
I
I'm gonna copy and
was
paste
trying to
it.
get it right. I really tried.
Oh no, you're fine. I'm gonna put it in our chat, and then you can
All right,
copy
I'll
and
delete
paste
that
it.
one so I can get it right.
Yeah, there you
I'll
go.
delete this one so I can get it right. Guys, give me a minute. It's telling me to put the user in timeout. I don't want to be in timeout. Not now. I'm not ready. I refuse.
Yeah.
All right, you're gonna put it in the chat? There it is.
Yeah,
All right,
there it
guys,
goes.
give me a second here.
And while she's doing that, I just want to encourage you guys. Like we have a lot of women who donated their time for months to help us, and they came on willingly to support us before we started raising money. And we really want to pay everyone in our crew and cast. So thank you. That's it. So that will help. Like again, there's no amount too small or too large. Feel free. And we have some amazing incentives. So please look at the page because some of the incentives. If you've been watching our page by donating, you will get, like $10. You get a social media shout out. If you donate $25, we give it like your picture and saying thank you. And then if you do, if you do more, we have even more incentives. So definitely look at our page and see all of the incentives we have. I don't want to take up your time listing all of the incentives. And for those of you that, let's just say you're interested in getting into the film industry and you're like, oh, I want some credit. So like for $1,000, you can become an associate producer on the campaign for those that have money. And if you want to be an executive producer, it's $5,000. But we accept everything in between. You could give us $5 or 50 cents. We don't care. I just wanted to make sure that people know that.
Awesome. Thank you so much, both of you, for taking the time to come down. I just want to say hi to my audience real quick. Hi, Norma. I see some of my regulars. Some of them tell me they can't see me. I was like, well, I hear you. Wait a minute. So hi, Norma. How are you? What did you say there? She said she was a caregiver for her mother for a while. Yeah, it was very hard all day and night to care for family. Most don't help you or you're on call. It's hard to get outside help. That's why they're making this film, because that's something we want to bring awareness to, Norma. So thank you for
your work.
Yeah, for watching. I appreciate it. Yeah, she works with a lot of people, so that's really awesome. The crew and the Assembly of Wise Film are amazing. That's your friend, Gliana?
She's our producer. She's our lead producer.
Lead producer. Hey, how are you? Oh, awesome. Yeah, that's awesome. Thank you so much for taking the time. Who else is on here today? I can't see. I'm missing somebody. I just got a comment. Oh, thank you very much. We appreciate you. So, ladies, I appreciate you so much for taking the time. I know you got a life and you got other things to do.
Thank you.
And I'm so happy that you met your campaign goals. That's amazing. And I'm hoping that you get double of what you need in the next 10 days. And I'll keep sending this out, of course, and I will definitely send you the podcast. Yeah. But in the meantime, I guess that's it. Any last requests?
Well, we want to thank you for having us on, and thank you to your guests who have listened. And we are very excited. Please follow us, and you can also follow us on social media.
Yes,
at Wise Love on Facebook. It's Wise Love Film.
Facebook, follow at Wise Love Film.
Mm-hmm. And on Instagram, let me know when you're ready.
Okay, one. I spelled it wrong. Really? I spelled Facebook wrong? Come on. Oh, is that wrong? Wait, no way.
I do it all the time.
Yeah.
Facebook. Is that wrong? It told me it's wrong.
Okay. That's okay. It's they can
hear
it.
You.
Wise Love Film. And then our Instagram is Wise.
Oh, here she got it. She got it.
Yeah, Glena's on top of it.
She's on it. Glena's on it.
Thank you, Gleana. We appreciate we can't see you, but we appreciate the backstory.
Yeah, she's amazing, and just so that people know, because I like to make sure her name is Glena, and she's amazing, just as beautiful as her name. Thank you, Glena Albritton.
Thank you, Glena. We appreciate you. And thank you to all our viewers. We appreciate you. Yes. Please like, share, subscribe, go to On Town's page, go to their Instagram page as well, Wise Love Film. They're awesome. You have to support the film because we all might end up being caregivers. And at some point, if we have parents or loved ones who may have mental illness, they may have dementia, it could be
Or
cancer.
accident. It could be a freak
Accident, yes.
for any reason.
Yes. So this could affect anybody. It's very important for us to get the message out there, and together we all create change. So thank you very much.
Okay.
And I thank you, ladies, for joining us. Hang out for a minute. All right.
Have a great one,
Thank you for
everyone.
having us.
Bye, guys.